Good morning, and welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Congregation in New London, Connecticut. I'm Caitlin O'Brien, Associate Minister, and with me in worship are Carolyn Patierno, our Senior Minister, Jesse Edwards, who coordinates the technical realm, and a thanks as always to Tammy, who created the beautiful slides for today. Bil Groth is our accompanist today, and our board president, Sally McGee, will be lighting our chalice. It's so good to have you with us, Sally. We each come to this worship service with our own personal struggles, compounded by the noise of political discord and the rise of the virus that moves among us. You could have checked out, but you opted to connect. We're so glad you did. May our time together today ground us in our faith community and in what matters most. As ever, it feels so good to say, welcome to All Souls, where all souls are welcome. You are joyfully called to worship. For our opening reflection, an excerpt from Deborah Wayner's post-election prayer. We have endured the hard night of struggle for our nation's soul for lo these many months, and find ourselves looking inward to each other, to all fonts of wisdom for guidance. Where do we go next? How do we mend the wounds of this nation, born out of an audacious and tentative experiment in democracy? How do we become united once more? On this day, on all days going forward, let us look to ourselves, into each other's eyes, to the skies, as we recognize that we must find ways to join together as never before if we are to build the future we dream of. I hope you'll join me in singing our opening hymn, This Little Light of Mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thank you, Caitlin. And thank you for singing This Little Light of Mine. I always love hearing your voice. And so we begin this week as we do every week, and that is with the lighting of our chalice, the lighting of our faith tradition. It is a symbol of courage and of freedom. And I am so honored to welcome Sally McGee, All Souls President of our Board of Trustees, to light our chalice and lead us in the words we will speak together. Sally, welcome. So good to see you.
Hidden in all stories is the one story. The more we listen, the clearer that story becomes. Who we are, why we are here, what sustains us is in this story.
Each week we light a candle of gratitude, a practice that we have entered into more intentionally since March. And on this Sunday, I want to light the candle of gratitude in honor of All Souls leadership, the board in particular in this moment, and in particular, the executive committee that has really done some heavy lifting in the past couple of months. In addition to the pandemic, we've had our building project coming and going. There have been personnel shifts and any of the number of issues that rise up, but that there have been so many more on top of the issues that normally rise up, speaks volumes to the amount of work and care and faithfulness that the leadership has offered to all of us. So I light this candle of gratitude on behalf of all of the congregation, to you, Sally, and to your colleagues who serve so ably and beautifully and skillfully on the board. We give thanks. Thank you so much, Sally.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's really fun to introduce my 9-year-old daughter, Michaela, who knows a thing or two about fear and bravery. She's going to share our story for all ages. Life Doesn't Frighten Me by Maya Angelou.
Shadows on the wall, noises down the hall, life doesn't frighten me at all. Bad dogs barking loud, big ghosts in a cloud, life doesn't frighten me at all. Meet old Mother Goose, lions on the loose, they don't frighten me at all. Dragons breathing flame on my counterpane, that doesn't frighten me at all. I go boo, make them shoo. I make fun, way they run. I won't cry, so they fly. I just smile, they go wild. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Tough guys fight all alone at night. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Panthers in the park, strangers in the dark, no, they don't frighten me at all. That new classroom where boys all pull my hair, kissy girls with their hair in curls, no, they don't frighten me at all. Don't show me frogs and snakes and listen for my scream. If I'm afraid at all, it's only in my dreams. I've got magic charm that I keep up my sleeve. I can walk on the ocean floor and never have to breathe. Life doesn't frighten me at all. Not at all. Not at all. Life doesn't frighten me at all.
Thank you so much, Michaela. Honestly, I'm wondering why I'm preaching a sermon when the lead-in is seriously enough. Such determination in Michaela's voice. I love that interpretation of that poem. It's the kind of determination that inspires others to be braver. And so thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Caitlin. It was a great idea. But I'll say a few things. Those who have attended the annual meeting of the Unitarian Universalist Association, known as General Assembly, know well the cadaverous space that is the exhibit hall. In a way, the exhibit hall resembles a lively marketplace with vendors selling everything from clergy vestments to bumper stickers. It was at one such booth that I found the sticker that I promptly placed on my laptop. And Jesse will show you a photo of that sticker. Love is greater than fear. I put the sticker on my laptop in 2017 as a reminder that as dangerous as the next 4 years would be, a big wave of love in the form of advocacy and protest would be the only way to push back on the ever-present and growing by the day level of fear. As I am on that laptop for many hours of the day's 24, That sticker is a persistent reminder. Love is greater than fear. Love is greater than fear. Love is greater than fear. If you believe it, say it out loud at home. Write it in the chat right now. Love is greater than fear. And I believe it. I do. And now, 4 years later, it seems to have proven itself correct because love roared back last week. The UU the Vote effort used the slogan as a hashtag, Vote Love. Millions of Americans did just that. But millions of Americans had as their official hashtag, it seemed, Vote Fear, because that's what's likely at the bottom of this heap of mess upon which we now stand. Fear. So much fear. So let me tell you a scary story. A story that has a hilarious ending, but the scary part speaks to an important point about the way that fear affects us, and in particular, the way that fear affects our ability to hear each other's stories. This story is a shadows on the wall, noises down the hall story. It is a story of me being frightened out of my mind, quite literally. A lifetime ago, when I was very young, and some of you know this, I was part of a performance troupe that toured around doing children's theater. To be clear, there was nothing glamorous about this experience. We slept mostly in gymnasiums and in people's homes, but the latter was rare. But on this one leg of the tour, we were staying in a lovely private home in the Thousand Islands, part of upstate New York, very beautiful. The house was right on the water. Late into the night, after we'd all gone to sleep, I was startled awake by voices that I was sure were inside the house. I bolted upright and I listened with the intensity of a threatened animal in the wild. I was sure that my fear, now pumping through my pounding heart, was confirmed. I was sure that there were strangers in the house. My friend Billy, of blessed memory, was sleeping in the bed across the room. And so I quickly walked over to him and I shook him awake. Terrified, I said, "There are people in the house." He stared at me through what I thought initially was just a cloudy, groggy fog of sleep. And so I said it again. "There are people in the house." Still, blank stare. He reached out for me, but I was so freaked out that I jumped back and I said, now louder, "There are people in the house. We have to go downstairs to see." It seemed that he was beginning to understand me. The point is that my own fear infected and then inspired his own fear so much that he couldn't understand me. He couldn't hear what I was saying. All he could feel was my intensity, my fear. Okay, so here's the funny part, which I warn you has absolutely nothing to do with this sermon's theme, but it's too funny to leave out. We'll get back to the sermon in a second. So now I'm in Billy's face. I'm insisting that we go downstairs to see what was what. He finally has the needed wherewithal to blurt out, "Have you never seen a single horror movie in your entire life? This is exactly when the good guys get slashed, when they go downstairs to see what's what." I assure you, I did not laugh in the moment, but I haven't stopped laughing since. Anyway, we armed ourselves, I kid you not, with our pillows we headed downstairs only to find that the voices I was hearing were coming from a boat right on the water, making the people sound closer than they actually were. So all was well. These little pillows. Okay, back to the sermon. The point is, when we are afraid, it's really hard. It's so difficult to grasp and understand anything, much less the complex reality that is human nature. The slings and arrows that we aim at each other right now are most times grounded in fear. And even if the fear is ungrounded, it doesn't make the fear any less real. So how do you talk through fear? How do you listen through fear? I just want to pause and assure you that I remember well what I said last week, specifically about evil. So to be clear, I don't think there's any talking through evil. I don't think there's listening through evil. Those folks who paraded around through the streets of Charlottesville, Virginia, torches held high, there's no talking to them or any of their sympathizers. Well, I'm sure that at the foundation of their protest is a bottomless pit of fear. It is a bottomless pit for which I have no empathy. But the vast majority of Americans are not evil. The vast majority of Americans do not ignore their better angels and our shared highest ideals in order to intentionally and adversely affect their neighbors. I'm going to remind you, remember when Elia and Ellen and I preached a sermon together back in August about wonder being the first step toward love? I think that wonder and then love are the first two steps toward batting down fear. Perhaps wonder and then love will help keep our collective fear at bay and bring us one step closer to those who supported the current administration. Love is stronger than fear. Love is stronger than fear. While in my basement doing laundry last week, I spied in a random open box a book that was practically calling out to me. The title of the book is No Fear, Shakespeare. The author takes all of Shakespeare's sonnets and translates them into modern American English. The idea struck a chord for me. Sonnet 120 is about asking a loved one to forgive us our trespasses with the stated commitment to forgive those who trespass against us. But you wouldn't know it if you were wrangled up in the fear that Shakespeare's verse sometimes strikes in the heart of many. So here's Sonnet 120 without fear, both in Shakespeare's English that Caitlin will share and that I will share, and modern American English that Caitlin will share. And I will begin. Sonnet 120. That you were once unkind befriends me now, and for that sorrow, which I then did feel, needs must I under my transgressions bow, unless my nerves were brass or hammered steel.
The fact that you were once cruel to me helps me now. Because of the sorrow that you made me feel then, I would have to be made of steel, not to be bowed down to the ground with guilt over how I've hurt you.
For if you were by my unkindness shaken, as I by yours, you've passed a hell of time, and I, a tyrant, have no leisure taken to weigh how once I suffered in your crime.
For if you felt my unkindness to you the way I felt yours to me, you've endured a time in hell. and I've acted like a cruel tyrant, never taking the time to think about how I once suffered when you committed the same crime against me.
Oh, that our night of woe might have remembered my deepest sense, how hard true sorrow hits, and soon to you as you to me, then tendered the humble salve which wounded bosoms fits.
Oh, how I wish that your earlier sorrow had reminded me of how hard true sorrow hits, so that I would have apologized to you as fast as you apologized to me, giving you the medicine that an injured heart needs most. But your earlier offense against me can now compensate you for what I've just done.
That your trespass now becomes a fee. Mine ransoms yours, and yours must ransom me.
My offense cancels out yours, and yours must cancel out mine.
But that your trespass now becomes a fee. Mine ransoms yours, and yours must ransom me. This sonnet is a testament to the power of empathy and forgiveness, of using the memory of the ways that we have been hurt, not as a weapon, but as inspiration to be quicker to forgiveness and compassion. For those with whom we disagree, can we imagine a way that their offenses may cancel out our own? A way to say, mine ransoms yours, and yours must ransom me. Truth be told, in this moment, it's hard to see it, but I want to try. But here's the big fat caveat for me. Although I am very grateful that there are people out there doing the really hard work of bringing seriously divergent points of view closer to each other, I am not interested in that work, nor am I well suited for it. But I do want to be capable of being in dialogue with those voters who quietly voted for the current administration, even though they know in their hearts that the president is not good for our country, much less not good for democracy in general. You know, the people who are not so hardcore. I have those people in my life. People I have always known to be good-hearted, but who I now look at and think, as did the poet, I don't know you, and you don't know me. How do we make our way into those tough conversations and toward those people? How? Dear souls, this is all I got. We've got a magic charm to keep up our sleeve. And although we cannot walk the ocean floor and never have to breathe, we do have the capacity to wonder. And wonder is the first step toward love. And love is greater than fear. Love is greater than fear. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. 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 Around this time of year, every year, Bill blesses us with the beautiful, beautiful piece called Thanksgiving. And so we will be treated to that piece right now. I invite you into the musical meditation.
Thank you, Bill. So beautiful. And thank you, Carolyn, for reminding us about an antidote to fear, the open door that is wonder. We now enter into our offering for the life and work of this congregation. We know that this is a time of economic uncertainty for many people. And so we ask that you give what is feasible for you at this time. Contributions can be made by Venmo, PayPal, or by mailed check. Please speak with me the words in our order of worship. We give to the work of all souls. Our work weaves the fabric of love called community. To this end, we dedicate ourselves and this, our offering. The offering will be gratefully received. For all you have given, for all that you have sacrificed, we thank you. Each week we pause to pay attention to the joy or sorrow that we experienced in the week just past. And there are two ways to share. One is by email to belovedcommunity@allsouls.net. Joys and sorrows that are received by 2 p.m. on Thursday are read aloud in the Sunday service. Or right now, you can share by entering your joy or sorrow into the chat, where it will be witnessed and held by those gathered here in worship. As you type your joys and sorrows in the chat, Reverend Carolyn and I will light candles of intention for a minute of shared silence. Blessed be. We are very saddened to share that Barbara Brockhurst died this week of congestive heart failure at L&M Hospital. Our hearts go out to her spouse, Bob Lavoie, and their sons, Chad and Alan. A memorial service will be planned when it is safe to gather. I shared with Bob that I'll always remember Barbara saying at a humanist discussion group that the fact that she did not believe in God led her to feel increased responsibility for how things are in our world, because it's up to us. From her work with the League of Women Voters to her being known for filling garbage bags on her regular walks with Bob, Barbara did her part. She was a devoted member of All Souls and of our choir, and she will be missed. Bob, our thoughts and care are very much with you and your family. Betsy has difficult health news to share. She's had a recurrence of breast cancer, and she has learned that it has metastasized to her bones. She's begun treatment this week, and she's so grateful for the support of her All Souls family. Betsy, we will walk this with you. In your years of caring teamwork, you've been a friend, a nurse, a mother to so many souls. You have poured out such love and support to all of us, and we surround you now with ours. Let us take a deep breath. And enter into a space of prayerful reflection. Let us remember the preciousness of this breath and the preciousness of the community gathered today in spirit. It is, as Barbara said, up to us to bring meaning to our days, to make our surroundings better, and to comfort and support one another. This is the sacred space we share today and always. May we tend it well. Let us say amen. It's a beautiful thing, this life, and the blue boat home where we live it. I'm grateful as always for your good company, and I hope you'll join me in our closing hymn.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks for the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, see the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor
As Reverend Carolyn extinguishes our chalice, please speak with me the words in our order of worship. Our service has ended, but our work is not yet done. May our spirits be renewed and our purpose resolved as we meet the challenges of the week. Our chalice flame is extinguished until once again ignited by the strength of our communion.
I invite you to place one hand upon your heart and reach out to the community that you know is just beyond and within. The more we listen, the clearer our story becomes, who we are, why we are here, what sustains us is in this story. Let us, in these days of Thanksgiving, in these harsh and beautiful and sad and joyful, quiet, peaceful days, may all of these come together to remind us that love is greater than fear. Go in peace, dear souls, and return again with great joy. Amen. Amen. All right, we have a couple of announcements, all Thanksgiving related, so listen up. Next week, Perry and David Horst will be leading our service, and this is the service where we include the litany of all of the gratitudes that you have submitted to be shared. So those written submissions should be sent to Tammy at office@allsouls.net. We'll put it in the chat right now by Wednesday at noon. And if you could get it in sooner, Perry especially would really appreciate it. It's a lot of work to pull all of those together. So that's one thing. Two, there will be a Thanksgiving sharing circle. It is open to all. Anyone who would like to join is more than welcome. 11 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day. Read your e-blast. You'll have more information there, or be in touch again with Tammy. She'll get you the information you need. And then we have a big announcement on the 29th, on the service on the 29th, so that's in 2 weeks. It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving. We are launching our first virtual coffee hour, a Zoom coffee hour. So you'll learn more about that in the weeks to come, but we're really excited. It'll start 10 minutes after the service. We will have a host who will break all of us out into smaller breakout rooms so that we can really enjoy each other's company. It won't be an hour long. It'll probably be about 20, 25 minutes that we're in those smaller groups. We'll see how it goes. We're experimenting. But look for information about that in your e-blast this week and then the week that follows. All right, I think that's everything. And now again, we turn to Bill for his musical gifts, and this time playing a beautiful piece by Beethoven. Thank you, Bill. Thank you all. See you next week.